Mark Zuckerberg just announced that Instagram will be selling verification for $11.99 a month. This was announced in a recent broadcast from Mark Zuckerberg himself about the new product that they will be rolling out called Meta Verified, which is initially going to be released here in New Zealand as well as Australia this week before getting rolled out further. To quote Mark, he says it's a subscription service that lets you verify your account with a government ID, get a blue badge, get extra impersonation protection against accounts claiming to be you, and direct access to customer support. This new feature is about increasing authenticity and security across our services. Meta Verified starts at $11.99 a month on the web or $14.99 a month on iOS. Or if you live in New Zealand, it's $23.99 in New Zealand a month or $30 a month, which is a bit steep considering the exchange rate is $1 US to $1.60 New Zealand, but is what it is. Now, interestingly enough, this feature is pretty much exactly what I suggested Facebook should be rolling out in a video that I made 4 months ago after the musician scandal with verification came out with ProPublica. I made that video after a scandal came out from ProPublica where they found thousands of accounts on Instagram that were verified who had paid for it and pretended to be musicians. These were plastic surgeons, athletes, entrepreneurs, creators who would pay money to a service to pretend to be a musician because it was easier to get verified as a musician on Instagram. That's what the article claimed anyway, as it seemed to be some sort of loophole where if you got on Spotify and Apple Music, then it was easier to become verified. That's what they said. Here's what I said in that video.
But how can all of this get fixed? Like, what is the solution? Well, in my opinion, I think Instagram needs to actually verify a lot more people. They should bring on some additional support staff and they should make it considerably easier to get verified.
Now, Facebook published on their website that in order to sign up for this service, you will have to be at least 18 years old, meet a minimum activity requirement, and submit a government ID, which matches the name on your profile. Again, this is what I suggested in that video.
Then you simply submit your ID and maybe a selfie holding your ID and maybe a selfie where you have a certain word written on a piece of paper just to prove it's all you. The black market for Instagram verification would completely die off. The amount of scams and impersonations on Instagram would also completely die off, and verification would serve the purpose that Instagram claim it's meant to be.
Now, personally, I think this is really good, forcing people to upload ID to be able to get verified. It's how the current system works, although the current system just doesn't have the support staff on the back end, so hopefully by paying for it, they can put better support in place to check people's IDs. The only issue I have here is hopefully they're not going to just give it to everyone. Hopefully these minimum activity requirements at least make sure the people that are verifying are at risk of impersonation, because at the end of the day, that's what verification is there for. It is not meant to be a status symbol. It is meant to verify people's real identity and real accounts who are at risk of impersonation, so people can't get scammed on the platform. It's not there to make you look impressive on Instagram. It's there to avoid impersonation, which in fairness can happen to even small people. I've seen girls that I know that have got 600-700 followers where people will create a fake account supposedly promoting their OnlyFans, and it would, I imagine, go to a fake website where the people who click on this link will then get scammed. And so it is also an issue with smaller people who might not even be creators. Additionally, users who sign up for this will get additional stickers which can be used in reels and stories, as well as some free digital currency which you can use to tip creators. We don't even have that in New Zealand, so I don't know what that is. But as I touched on earlier, having to have a ID that matches your username, it does mean that businesses cannot sign up for this yet. What they will hopefully do in the future is make businesses show proof of incorporation, and then maybe they need ID from a shareholder or company director. And a good feature that they have added that Twitter did not add when they rolled out a similar feature is that once you become verified, you cannot change your name, username, birthday, or profile photo without going through this process again, which means a random person can't sit at home, verify their account for $11.99, get the blue tick, and then change their username to impersonate someone who is of influence, and then use that verified account to scam people. This should combat that issue. Like I mentioned earlier, these prices mentioned are the USD prices, despite this feature launching in the best country in the world first, New Zealand. So for us Kiwis, it'll be $23.99 or $29.99 a month. The reason why you have to pay more on iOS will be to combat the transaction fees of Apple. I believe they charge about 30%. So at the end of the day, Facebook will receive a similar payment whether you go through the web app or whether you go through the App Store. However, as Apple charges a lot, they want to combat that, so makes sense. In fact, I actually went on the news here in New Zealand to talk about this feature and what I think of it.
We spoke with Instagrammer Josh Ryan, who's trialling the service, to find out why it's needed and how it will improve social platforms.
At the moment, there's a massive problem on Instagram with impersonators. People will just set up a random account pretending to be someone notable and then reach out to the people who follow them, such as myself.
Now, in the original video where I suggested making it easier to become verified because it would help fix a lot of problems that they claim to want to fix, there'd be way less people scamming people for fake verification services and fake blue check services where people might reach out to creators, tell them they can get them verified, get paid $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $20,000 in Bitcoin, and then someone just runs off with the money. I've heard of this happening to people. I've worked with clients who have paid thousands of dollars to someone on the black market to get verified, and then that client doesn't get verified. Obviously, it's terrible for them. This should eliminate that because now they can just go and pay $12.99 a month. And there should be way less impersonators out there who are pretending to be people of influence, because now that the blue check is more accessible, most creators will be able to get it so that people can't pretend to be them. I myself will definitely be spending the $11 a month or whatever it is to get the blue check, because I genuinely will get 5 or 10 or 20 messages a day of people saying, this person followed me, it's got your photos, it's got your name, it's got a similar follow account, and they've been trying to sell me crypto. Is it you? Obviously, it's not me. To some people, that is not obvious. So having a blue check should hopefully cover that up. And another thing that this will do is transfer the focus of the verification away from being a status symbol and move it towards being something that is actually about verifying identity, which is what it was meant to do in the first place. Hopefully Facebook don't take it too far though, and don't just verify anyone who will pay $12.99 a month. However, they might do that. They're a for-profit company. It is probable that they will, and if they do, I don't think that's great. I have a bad feeling that Facebook may accept too many people into this program initially, because if they were to do that, they would accept too many people to drive up the monthly recurring revenue that they generate from this tool. Their support staff would be overrun with trying to check IDs and get people verified, and then they wouldn't have the time to be able to remove impersonating accounts or creators with support if they lost their account like I did, and it would kind of just turn into a cash grab. Hopefully that's not the case. It might be. Prove me wrong. Because if you look at it from a business point of view, if they just sign up as many people as they can, that's going to maximize profits. That's just probably the cynical side coming out. Hopefully they do a good job of the support on the back end as well. On a more positive note, despite this feature being taken from Twitter, it looks like it's a much improved version. Firstly, the fact you have to be 18, you have to show legitimate ID to actually get verified, and once getting verified, you can't change your details, will fix a lot of the problems that Twitter had with theirs. For example, someone on Twitter created an account impersonating a business, they paid for the verification, and then they tweeted some, I believe, defamatory tweets, which led to the stock price of that publicly traded company going down a lot. That was very bad. With these checks and balances in place that Facebook have created, that hopefully won't be able to happen. Thanks, Mark, for taking the advice I suggested in that video. Hopefully this feature is everything that is promised. If it's done right, I think it could be good. I've just got a feeling that it might not be done as well as it could be. But like I said, prove me wrong, make it amazing, and I'll be a happy man and talk about it positively for a long time. What do you guys in the comments think of this? Personally, I will be getting it if I can and showing you guys through it. If you're not getting impersonated on Instagram, I wouldn't waste your money on it unless you want to flex, but I think that's a bit silly. And if you are getting impersonated, paying $11.99 a month is a lot cheaper than having to deal with your customers getting scammed for hundreds or thousands of dollars because of the impersonators. That's it from me, but if you want to learn how to gain your first or next 10,000 followers on Instagram, following the exact steps I used to do that for myself, for my clients, for many other accounts out there, then I've put together a new program. I will link it down below where you can find more information, and I will see you in the next video.